This is the portable art easel I built using what I had laying around my shop. It has a large 17-inch work area, storage for your tools underneath, hand-cut grooves to adjust the height, and it's super easy to build. And I would love to use this easel to draw and do a whole bunch of paintings, but unfortunately, this is the best I can do. But there's one issue I had while building this easel, and I'll need your help later in the video. But first, we have to go back a few months to show you how I built this. I have these cherry boards left over from a Canada flag I built last year, and it's the first time I ever tried inlays, so if you want to check that video out, there'll be a link down in the description. But the first thing you have to do is just find a good grain orientation for the front, and then glue the boards together, and then sand it down. Since I was only gluing two boards together, it was pretty easy lining up the boards. I just put some bar clamps on the edge just to make sure that the edges stayed flush. I ended up gluing 2 to 3/4 inch boards together to get a 1.5 inch wide board, and I was going to cut this board down to strips to make the sides of the easel. Once all the glue dried up, I cut everything down into individual strips, and these are all the pieces I got left with. And this was actually the original design for my easel, but later in the video you'll see that I changed it up slightly, and that's what I'm going to need help with, so stay tuned for that. And again, I'm using the card scraper to finish off my builds, and this is actually before I built the vise and the bookshelf. I just had this card scraper for a while, but I never really used it in a video till this one. And once I finish scraping, the next thing I have to do is just attach the ledge onto the front of this board. So what I'm doing now is just marking out the thickness of my face board, and then I'm going to take my router out and then clear out the waste, and when this is all done, I should have a 1-inch overhang for the front. And to make sure it sits flush, I'm just clearing any high spots out with my chisel, sanding it down, then I can glue it onto the front of the board, making sure that it's perpendicular to my front. And now at this point in the video, this is where I needed your help. So my final design is actually different than the one I'm building right now. The original plan was to drill in circles into the wood, and then I would insert ball bearings into this. And with this, what I would do is I'll just put a dowel into the side boards, and this was going to help me rotate the lever arm to get the board to adjust to different sizes. On paper, the idea was kind of okay. The issue really was because the boards have to be so thick to fit in the ball bearings. The back of the easel looked like a bulky mess, and I didn't like the way that it was rotating. Now it could be because I used too much polyurethane glue in the joint that it wasn't turning the ball bearings smoothly, but I still think there's an option for this type of build. I just didn't use it with this easel. Now if you have any ideas for what I can do with these pieces with ball bearings stuck in them, let me know in the comments. I still have both of them sitting in my shop doing absolutely nothing, so any good ideas would work, and hopefully I can get something good out of this build. So now we're back to the actual design. Now these strips I'm going to use to make the storage area at the bottom. The only thing I have to do next is just use my router and the route out a channel into these drawers so I can slip in the plywood for the base. Now using my angle finder, which I actually just broke the other day and I'm actually not very happy about. I'm just finding the angle to find out how long I need to make this board. And this is going to be the piece I use to make my easel adjustable. I love how my high school math from grade 9 keeps popping its way back up into woodworking. It's a good thing I remember it. With both side pieces double stick taped together, what I can do now is just cut out the slots for the adjustable shelf. Now they're going to be cut out with my Japanese handsaw. I found it's the best way to do it. I could have used a table saw, but I don't really have a sled that can push it that well. So at least these will be cut out by hand. I just have to do some fine tuning at the end to make sure they're at the same height. And now with all the pieces good to go, I just have to glue them together just like doing a normal drawer box, just making sure that everything is nice and straight to make sure that the holes on the sides will line up with each other. So now we just have to attach the hinging system onto the front of the easel. Now initially I didn't want to use a piano hinge, only because I want to have as little metal in as possible. That's why I went for the ball bearing look. The ball bearings wouldn't have been seen because the wood would have hidden them, but I ended up settling for this just because it turned out to be the simplest solution. But in the future, I'm going to try and see if I can find another design for this. This is just a prototype that I build right now. I'll definitely be building it again with you guys' ideas I get in the comments. Now with the hinge installed, you can see it opens smoothly, way smoother than the old design that I had. And if you are building an easel, yes, the hinge is so much easier, but if you are going to build a portable easel like this, the hinge is definitely the go-to option. It may not look as cool, but at least it gets the job done perfectly fine. Now the last part you have to add on the easel is just the stop for the back parts to fold out. And this is what gives my easel a sleek look. And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't bulky or there wasn't a lot of parts on it. All you see is just the front base and then the back storage area. And with the fold out arms, what you can do when you're not using it is just store it inside the storage area, just so you can carry this easel along no problem. And if I wanted to carry around the easel, what I'll just do is add a handle and a lock to it, just to make sure that when I carry it, move it around, that nothing falls out the back. And just for comparison, this is actually what the easel used to look like before the change. And you can tell that it's definitely a lot sleeker, and I definitely like the look overall. And I actually gave this easel away to someone that I know, and it's definitely going to get some better use with them than me. But here it is, the first Mark I of the easel, made with cherry wood. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.